And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Oh, Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
Cabot,
where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it at Auto Club.
Here live tonight for the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series. We come to you live from Charlotte, North Carolina. The 1.5 mile quad oval that's sure to be exciting here tonight. Concord for race number 9. I'm your host, Brantley Cooper. The Overtake iRacing League has put on a great season thus far, but the points are starting to shape for what's going to be your chase and the format here this season with the playoffs and how all these drivers have been factoring in the wins and locking themselves in. We have 4 or 5 drivers in the points that are leading up front that have 0 wins. You can see all the way down to Brandon Holder. He's in the 4th spot where he has 0 wins, and you actually have to go all the way down to 5th place James Silvers before you find a victor this season, and a multitude of different winners, 6 to be exact, and a variety of different guys up front at different times through this season. But here today at Charlotte Motor Speedway, 24 degrees banking in the turns, 5 degrees on the backstretch, 4-quarter quad oval built back in 1960, and it is the mecca of motorsports, the track that everybody thinks of when they think of NASCAR. It's built in its backyard. And as these drivers get set up down here on the starting grid, let's take you through your race analysis. 180 laps here tonight, and pit road, according to iRacing, the speed is 35 miles per hour. I find that hard to believe, so I changed it to 55 because that's what I feel like it is, but I could be wrong on that. 5 tire sets available and unlimited green-white checkered. We will have our first stage ending at lap 70. So the iRacing fix set up all these drivers on an equal and level playing field. It really will come down to drivers' talent, as always here for the Cup Series, and Monday and Tuesday as well. It always comes down to who handles it the best with these fixed setups. So drivers are going to have to pace themselves, use all their discipline here, and hopefully have a little bit of luck on the other side of it. But let's take you trackside now, get that grid up on your screen. Starting on the pole here tonight, well, that's going to be the number 84 of David Farmer. He put up a 30.188. Cody Anderson just outside in that first row, and great qualifying effort there for the 42 car. Told him to change those lights to red tonight for the onboard camera. Hopefully that was the reason for it. Row number 2 is going to belong to Eric Hutton. Jonathan Cofield's going to start in 4th spot. OiL Hooby in the 21, and Brandon Holder next to him in row number 3. Barrett Morton's going to start in the 7th position with Sean Kaser in 8th spot. Then we have James Silvers, Matt Grenier in the top 10. 11th position belongs to Radburn Shutters, Michael Kostick in 12th. 13th, Nick Mills, GT Hawkins, the fan favorite, rolling off in 14th. 13th spot, Nick Mills. Oh, we're trying to get through this. There's Brandon McLaughlin in 15th, Justin Sorrell in 16th spot. 17th, Greg Schroeder, Blake Hensley in 18th. 19th spot, Michael Cole, John Schwartz in 20th. And rounding out your 22-car field here today, it's going to be Yusuf Ghali and Mark Morton. So as the pace car rolls around turn 4, we get set to go green. Sitting here ready to go. Barney has the flag up in the air. And let's go live and racing for race number 9 of the season. Overtake iRacing League Cup Series is live from Charlotte. Coming by to lead lap number 1, it was the 84 of David Farmer. Up on the outside there is Cody Anderson. Eric Hutton to the bottom now, peaking for second spot. Farmer takes him all the way to the bottom. 84 car in the wall, and Anderson's going to take over the lead. And just like that, a mistake is made in the entry of 3. And here comes Farmer, or here comes Anderson rather, to take over the point. Sure what happened there to the number 84 car, but the red lights seem to be working here tonight for the 42 team. Pressure is on though. And now the 87 of Hutton dives it down into the entry of 1. Battle here on the outside. 87 car leaves him enough room that he gets the run off of 4, but it's not going to be enough. And now Eric Hutton will take over the lead on lap number 5. Gets lap number 4 led. Anderson gets a really good run there in 1 and 2. He's going to pinch off there on the exit of the corner. Hutton's going to lose the spot as of now, and now Farmer, or I don't know why I keep doing that, Anderson dives down in front of him. Keeps him from taking that line and protects the lead. Rafael Hubi now on the outside for second. Board here with the number 21 machine. He has to downshift here in 3 and 4, trying to get by Anderson, who's led his 3rd lap now across the line. And this track starting to look very momentum based here as the laps tick away. A little touch there on the apron for the 42, a little mistake coming off the exit, now allows the 21 car to get to the outside. The battle for the lead intensifies, and now the 21 to the outside line. Across the line here, it's going to be another lead change by lap number 8, and Hubi's going to lead it this time by, and these guys battling hard up on the front row. So let's check back in. David Farmer has fallen out of the top 20. He's all the way back to 21st. He had that bad entry there with the turn 1. And let's go back on the instant replay. There's a look at it there after it's happened, after the fact. Let's back it up a little bit more. It just looked like he got a bad entry into 3, got stuck up there in the safer barrier and never could get out of it. Here's a look from the wide angle, and yeah, he just went in too high, or the wheel didn't steer, and that entire freight train of cars goes right on by. Tough break there for your pole sitter. But Rafael Hubi takes over the lead, and he has a look back. He starts to pull away, and now Eric Hutton for the 2nd position starts to battle. Now there's a driver that's been on the move here. He's working the outside here in 1 and 2. and he's up 6 positions since he began this race. That's Justin Sorrell in the 99 on the outside of Radburn Shutters here. Now for the 9th spot, he picks up another one. Still on the inside here for 2nd position. Hutton still not able to clear Anderson. And a great day here for the number 42. He's staying up here in the top 3 since this race took its green flag. Jonathan Cofield, who had a tough break last week, finds himself in 4th. So some drivers that are on the move. Sorrell, we mentioned earlier. Silvers is up 3 spots right in front of him there into the 6th spot from 9th. And then you have another driver that's big on the move, Yusuf Ghali. How about that 45 machine? He started all the way back at the tail end of this field. He's up to 13th now in just 13 laps. Moves to the inside of Blake Hensley into 3 and 4. GT Hawkins in front of him, gaining a few positions as well. And you remember these two battled it out big time last week until Yusuf Ghali made a mistake. Hawkins ultimately comes out on top. And it's going to be really tight here off of 1 and 2. Hensley on the outside. The 19 up ahead of this. That's Barrett Morton in the 19 machine. Pete Carroll back bumper. 45 back to the inside. Ghali trying to get away from position. Cannot get clear of the 31 car, and they're going to split it 3 wide. They peak there in 1 and 2. Hensley backs out of it, and the 45 finally gets a decent enough run. He clears the 19 down the backstretch. Up to 12th, or 11th rather. Hawkins up to 10th, into the top 5. Sorrell still on the move. Up to 6th now. Working on the back of Brandon Holder for the top 5. See his field stormed by. Sorrell cannot work the magic that he had when he pulled out from about the 16th position on lap number 1. The battles on the racetrack still peaking to the inside. Cofield gets up on the back bumper of Anderson for 2nd. Hutton loses a spot, and now the 58's going to try his luck to see if he can catch up and get clear of this 42 car. Hutton moves down to the bottom to try to follow suit, but Anderson doing a phenomenal job playing defense here on the outside. Very tight there off of turn 2. Anderson pinches the 58 car down there momentarily, and almost some bump drafting as they go into 3. Hutton backs the corner up a little bit, trying to get some clean air on that nose. This car very notorious for being in that bubble and losing front downforce. Anderson's going to live to fight another day here in 2nd. Newby has now led 12 laps here today in the 19 completed. We have 180 to complete. Well over 200 miles here today. And Eric Hutton must have a problem because he falls back even more. Sorrell now into the top 5. But a surge here from the 17 is Silvers. second now for Cofield. Quite a few drivers on the move. Now the 9 of Holder looks to the inside for the third spot. Almost some contact there as they come out of 4. 2 by 2 for third and fourth, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Shutters on the bottom, or the outside rather. There's the 14 of Hawkins as well. These drivers try to sort out outside the top 5. Holder goes back to the inside briefly there of the 9 car. Side by side now for the lead. OiL Hooby, under driver from the 58 of Cofield, trying to take it over on lap 22. Hooby has the preferred line as they come out of that corner. It doesn't look like he's going to get the run just yet, but now taking it into turn 3, he's going to get the nose in there and keep Hooby from running his preferred line. But this is allowing the 42, the 9, the 99 all to reel them back in. Can't get the position. Cofield fights again. Takes it back to the bottom to the quad oval. Drops back up in line. Brandon Holder completes the pass for second or third position. Anderson starting to fade a little bit here. Maybe overdrove his stuff, but this run is about halfway through for green flag pit stops. So these drivers might have to consider starting to back up these corners a little bit more. By side still for the lead here with Cofield back on the bottom of Hooby. Hooby's held on for quite a few laps now. And now Holder to the outside for second. Maybe 3 wide here as they come off the turn 4. We're about to find out. Peek there to the middle. Holder doesn't have the hole. Little block there from Hooby to keep the 9 car up high. There's the 3 wide here as they come through 1 and 2. Pinch down on the bottom. Contact between both the leaders. And Holder can't get clear. He falls all the way back to Cody Anderson. Creates another 3 wide situation. Anderson in the middle now with Hawkins on the bottom. Anderson just not able to hold on to that as Hawkins goes by for the top 5. The 45 of Yusuf Ghali following suit. Car in the wall, that is the 42. And Anderson's going to fall back to the 10th position now as Radburn shutters on the inside. So the top 5 changes hands. Jonathan Cofield, OiL Hooby, Brandon Holder, Eric Hutton, GT Hawkins up to 5th spot. As he chases these drivers down, he's up 9 positions, up 15 for Yusuf Ghali, biggest mover of the race. And the battle for the lead heats back up as they almost take it 3 wide again. That time by, it was Cofield for the lap lead. Down the backstretch, neck and neck. Hooby takes the point back. Takes that momentum into turn 3 with Brandon Holder close on the rear bumper. A little check up there on the bottom for Hutton. That allows Holder to get to the outside. He'll get up to the back bumper of Hoobie again into one. Eking 3 wide here off of turn 2. See what that clean air is doing for Cofield as he takes over the lead again and runs away a little bit here on the exit of turn 4. Cofield almost up into the wall. Close call there for the 58 machine as he came out of 1 and 2. Kicked up a little bit of dust up in those marbles, but he's able to keep most of it intact. Maybe a little touch with the wall there. But he's running a much higher line than everybody else. All the way up near the decals here on the Toyota banner. And they single file out. First through third, Rafael Hoobie, who was leading this race now, has the 45 of Yusuf Ghali, who cleared the 14 of Hawkins up into the top 5 now and gets by for the 4th position. Dive to the inside here for the 14 of Hawkins. He's going to try to take away the position. A lot of multiple lines running here tonight at Charlotte. And there's shutters on the outside. I believe that's Silver's. Looks like a car coming down pit road. That's the 21 of Hoobie. So he'll start the first of these green flag pit stops in the 21 car down that lonesome pit road. And if anybody wants to convert kilometers to miles per hour, he is traveling 78 kilometers per hour. Not sure what that would be in miles per hour, but I have a feeling it's more than 35. iRacing. So Eric Hutton works his way back up to second. On the prowl now, 35 laps into this race. And 3 cars have hit pit road. Farmer being another one of those. Brendan McLaughlin and Rafael Hoobie have all come down. Everybody else seems to be equalized and staying out to run this out as long as they can. Change for the lead now. Eric Hutton goes to the inside of Cofield. Going to try to snag away a lap lead. Cofield's going to have a good surge out of the exit of 4, but doesn't take it anywhere in the 87 car. This time by. The race recap up on the screen. Officially 8 lead changes since the drop of the green flag. 37 laps into this 180 lap race. And still a lot of work left to be done. Almost up into the wall there as the exit's turn 2, but he holds on to it, and Hutton pulls his lead out to about 0.2 of a second. And we're hearing some drivers starting to call out here for pit road. There's the 58 of Jonathan Cofield. The 45 of Yusuf Ghali follows him in. And the 48 car hits the... took the Roval line through there. Not sure if he was trying to pit, but he took an entirely different configuration here. 25 car, yeah, got into the side of him. And what a ride here. Let's go on board with him. The yellow flag is out. Not sure if this happened after the fact. Pay close attention to some of these drivers to see where this happens. Not sure if that was an admin thrown caution or not. I can't seem to locate where it happened. We just saw a car go off the racetrack, so it might have something to do with it. But some of these drivers got caught on pit road. Blake Hensley had come down pit road. Hutton now, for their first time on pit stops, going to be under the yellow flag here on... Well, actually, this should be the stage. That happened right at the stage here. I thought maybe a yellow flag had come out or something. We had a lot of action there for a moment. But Cofield's going to stay out. A few of these guys are going to get a wave around. Down pit road here. Down and away for Hawkins. Still on service here for the 42 of Anderson. Hutton's out. Looks like maybe Holder beats Hutton out of the box. Got back on an instant replay. And right here, the green cones on both sides of your screen, that's the line we need to pay attention to. Holder, it looks like he beats both the 14 and the 87 out of pit road. So after the waiver rounds come around, we'll have Jonathan Cofield leading this field with Yusuf Ghali, Brandon Holder, Eric Hutton, and GT Hawkins, the top 5. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series live on Vspeed, 41 laps in to the 180 lap race. Jonathan Cofield is coming back down pit road, so apparently a problem for him. But we'll get this all sorted out for you when we return. Back here live from Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. 43 laps completed. Stage number 1 is over with. We get set to go back green flag racing here on Vspeed. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, and again, as always, the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series is bringing you coverage and racing on Wednesday night. It's been a good one so far. Yusuf Ghali takes over the lead after the 58 comes back down pit road, falls back to 10th position. But the pace car is about to pull off, and we're about to get set back underway. Green flag up in the air, and the second stage of racing about to be underway here from Charlotte. Car off the racetrack back there. That's Michael Cole in the 67 machine. Not sure what happened to him, but he's going to cut back up into this line of cars about 17th, 18th position. There's Nick Mills on the outside being scored a lap down. But problems here for the 67 car. Meanwhile, the 45 of Yusuf Ghali has pulled out over Eric Hutton, 0.3 of a second. Barrett Morton, Brandon Holder, the 19 tags the apron there through 1 and 2, and 14 of Hawkins gets the position, but almost gets into him. 3 wide offset, and the 19 loses spots all the way back to 14th, 15th position. And it's utter chaos behind Sorrell right now. All his spots gained. He lost some of them on pit road. Jonathan Cofield, who had to come back down pit road, sitting in 10th, he's to the inside of James Silvers and Blake Hensley, coming up on the outside now for 10th. Sorrell makes a mistake through 3 and 4, and that checks up the 58 car. He loses 2 spots out of this. Down to the inside of Shutters there briefly. He doesn't get the position. Hensley in 9th right now, falls back to 10th as Cofield gets a surge on the outside into 1. It's going to be side by side briefly, but now the 58 of Cofield sets his sights on the 44 of Shutters up into the wall now for the 58 car. Brief touch there. We saw that earlier when he was up in the lead, and Yusuf Ghali now is under fire for the lead. Side by side going into turn 1, it's Hawkins on the bottom. The lead, rode right up on the back bumper, doesn't quite get clear though. The 45, he's going to stay to the outside. Hard battle for the lead. 2 laps in a row. Hawkins gets pinched down here into 3 and 4. He pushed Ghali all the way into the entrance of 1. Now the 45 car across the line. He's going to lead this time by. They're going to stay side by side for lap 51. Brandon Holder now into the picture as they go into 3. Remember, he's not afraid to take it 3 wide. for every lap that goes on up here, these guys using up their stuff a little bit more. That's allowing Holder, if he backs up a little bit, to probably save his tires. Now the 14 does get clear, opens up the door for Holder down the backstretch. He doesn't take it. Car into the wall again. That looked like OiL Hubi in the background. Eric Hutton now to the bottom. Cody Anderson, who started up front in this race, has worked his way back to 5th after restarting back around the 8th position. Now to the outside for the top 5. Oh, really close there on the exit to turn 2, but he gets clear of the 87, and he's going to pull away. Now sets his sights on Brandon Holder and the number 9. Side by side behind him briefly there. Cofield slides up in front of the 31 of Hensley. And the movement around here for position, Hensley to the bottom of Cofield. Cofield touches the wall again, coming out of 2. Right rear on that machine, just about sanded off. Tagged with the wall there by Silvers as they enter turn 1, clips that safer barrier. Cofield thankfully back far enough off the bumper. Another touch with the wall. These guys pushing very hard for position. The outside gets the run, but the bottom here in 3 and 4 seems to be able to hang with it. And for every lap, Anderson now up to 3rd. He's got the 9 of Holder back to the inside. And Silver's going to give him a shove. The downshifting here, trying to set the nose. Anderson doing a phenomenal job. Both these drivers side by side, still for the 3rd position. Does get clear as they go into 3. And Anderson's going to pull down in front of Holder. But Holder's going to get a decent run here out of turn 4. Does he take it to the inside? He does not. Opening up the door now with that little checkup. And the 58 of Cofield's into the picture now again for the 4th position. So across the line for lap number 59. GT Hawkins has led 7 laps. He took over the lead again at lap 57. Hasn't looked back since. Looking really spot on here today. And these drivers from 3rd place on back still trying to figure out who's going to be in this top 3. Anderson on the outside. Cofield peeks to the outside of Silvers. Silvers closes the door there on the exit to turn 4. He's going to get a bumper full. What a move there by Cofield to break into the top 5. Silvers really checks up here. And I want to know where Sorrell is. He was having a good race earlier, but he's falling out of the top 10. He's back to 12th, and he's 3.5 back from the lead. Top 2 have checked out for the rest of this field. They've pulled away from Cody Anderson, who's still in a battle with the 9 of Holder, the 58 of Cofield. Hawkins and Golly have been going back and forth now for about 5 laps in a row. As they continue to push it a little bit harder. Anderson, Holder, and Cofield. I'm interested to see what their tires have for later in this run. Anderson gets a little shove here as they go into turn 1. Holder sends him a little bit deeper into the corner. Number 9 car all over the back bumper here. And that allows Eric Hutton to get by on the inside. Holder to the bottom now of Anderson. And side by side through 3 and 4. And this is about the time that the 42 car fell off the last run before that stage break. And you can see frustration starting to sink in here for Cody Anderson. He knows he's fast, but the run just not progressing the way he wants it. There's Cofield down to the bottom of Holder for 4th position. We're back here deeper in the field, a side-by-side battle with their pole sitter. And that is the 84 of David Farmer. Craig Schroeder gets by, actually Matt Grenier. So a couple different cars. Michael Cole in the 67 that we're currently looking at. Grenier up here near Kubi as well. And I'm kind of all over the place here tonight with my timing and scoring. Things a little bit jumbled up. But these drivers back here to the 67 of Cole are 9 seconds back in the lead. Mills a lap down. It looks like Michael Kostek, Brendan McLaughlin also off the lead lap. So Hawkins turns up the heat, the clean air working for him, and the 14 car starts to pull away 0.4 of a second over Yusuf Ghali as they come by to complete lap number 67. Hawkins has a sizable lead and a pretty decent gap. No draft effect here for the 45. He's not going to be able to catch up to him with that alone. He's going to have to drive that machine perfectly on his marks if he wants any chance to catch up to Hawkins. You see that time shaved down a little bit there to 1 and 2. Ghali says it's time to go. This time by a 10th faster. So a lot of laps left to go, but right now Hawkins looking like the car to beat, and we have a yellow flag. Looks like Blake Hensley, the front end torn off that machine. And on lap 70, we have our first yellow of the day. And the right front completely destroyed on that machine, not even rotating anymore. Looks like Hensley's going to be done for the day. Anderson gets tagged there by the 25 car. Acer gets into the back of the 42 and sends him up into the 31 car. One more time. And that's going to do it there for the 31 car. That's unfortunate for him. He was having a decent enough race. He'd been up in the top 10, but had fallen out after the tires got a little used up here. And Hensley's going to go down pit road, try to get some of this repaired, bringing out the first yellow here of the day on lap number 70. And we have a flood of cars down pit road now. Four tires and a full tank of Sunoco fuel is going to be the recipe here. Hawkins and what looks like Golly really close there between Holder, Cofield, and someone else. I couldn't tell. Those guys were so on top of each other. Let's back this up a little bit. Here you're going to see the mix between the 14. That's obviously with Hawkins winning the battle off of pit road, but there's Holder. Almost gets the whole shot again. But it looks like Hutton able to hold on to it. And that's going to do it there for the battle off of pit road. "72 laps complete. We're coming up on halfway here live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Overtake iRacing League Cup Series on Vspeed. We're going to take another brief commercial break. Bring you some more coverage right after this.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Black.
Black.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. The pace car about to pull off so we can go back live in racing for the third time today. 2 official cautions. And GT Hawkins is going to lead him into turn 1, onto the loud pedal, and here we go, live in racing again at Charlotte. Down the backstretch, has an excellent restart, and the 14 of Hawkins says see you later. 3/10 of a second now. Yusuf Ghali to the inside of Brandon Holder out of the exit of turn 4, trying to get away the second position. Ghali started all the way back in the 21st position today. He's up 18 spots. He's still got his work cut out for him, though, with Holder on the outside. And the 9 of Holder, top 5 in points here coming into today. He's able to best him coming out of 3, and now a dive back to the inside for the 45 on the back of the 14 of Hawkins. Seven laps completed. About 13 shy of halfway now. Hawkins single files out. The top 5 of single file out. The entirety of this field is settled down, but we go back here to the 84. And how about the recovery here from your pole sitter? Farmer looking to try to get back into the top 10. He's on the outside of Barrett Morton right now. Through 1 and 2. Early battle on this racetrack for position. Everyone else single files out. And Farmer clear. This position is still up for grabs. GT Hawkins, and this is more of what we saw earlier with Yusuf Ghali trying to chase him down. Now it's the 9 of Holder trying to keep him in check. Lap after lap. The 14 showing strength, but isn't able to run away from this field. No one has really broken off. If this race were to stay green, I have a good feeling about maybe this top 5 having a good chance of splitting away, but these drivers back here, they've been on top of each other all day long. And here comes David Farmer following the 58 of Cofield back through this field. Almost gets into the back of them. They go into 3. Bit of a late entry, a late downshift there for the Farmer has allowed him to get back to the outside of Cofield as they go down the backstretch. You can see right here, Farmer just a little bit later on the downshift, so he's able to get that run on the entry. Surprisingly able to carry the momentum off the exit, because usually when you drive it in deeper, the car doesn't want to turn. And the guy on your inside able to get back to the throttle. Maybe using a little bit of that line to his advantage. As you see, Cofield kind of struggles down there. And Farmer able to clear. Let's put David Farmer up to P9. Rafael Kubi into the mix now, into 10. Onto the outside now of Farmer as they exit turn 4. Into the wall now for the 21. Just brushes it. And he's able to hold on and stay door to door now into turn one with Farmer again. There's James Silvers in front of him. And everybody on the edge of this top 10 still trying to settle it out. And Silvers drives to the inside of Justin Sorrell for the 7th spot. Can't complete the pass. Can't even get the nose in there in 3. 21 of Hui now peeks to the inside. James Silvers looking back at OiL, Hui, and 9th. And Hui, another one of those cars that's been in and out of the top 5 today. He's down 4 positions from where he began this race. Silvers is up +1, Sorrell up 9, Golly back to 3rd, but he's up 18. And how about this guy here today? He's led 34 laps and he's gained 13 positions. GT Hawkins showing him why he's the points leader here today at Charlotte. And we'll display those points back up on your screen briefly here to talk a little bit about how Hawkins is winless coming into this race, but has a 26-point advantage over the pole sitter today, who's fallen out of the top 10 at one point. He's back up to 10th right now. But yeah, the action on your screen, it's going to get better and better because these guys are tightening up here for the final 6 races of the season. As we approach week number 10, next week racing, going to intensify this even more. So next week for the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series, it's going to be Iowa Speedway for 175 laps. Ought to be a good one. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button here on Vspeed so you never miss a single race. We'll bring you flag-to-flag coverage of all 3 series of the Overtake iRacing League. And then some. Streaming 7 days a week at some time. Looking forward to what we have in store with BTDY starting back up on Tuesdays. QSR going to be back on Thursdays and an additional day on Tuesday. ERX simulations and the World Cup Series on Friday night. Saturday Night Racing League at 10 p.m. And then the Sunoco Cup Series, which is on an every other week schedule as of now. We'll have Bristol not this Sunday, but next Sunday. Lots and lots to do here on Vspeed, but first we've got to figure out who the dominant car of the day is. As we pass the halfway mark, let's find those volume knobs, find the remote, get that smart device cranking, and let's bring some noise here on Vspeed. So he leads another lap and maintains that 0.3 of a second gap. Yusuf Ghali works his way up to the top 2. He gets by Brandon Holder during that moment there on the broadcast and inches his way closer to Hawkins, who's been out front since we took the green flag back on lap 73. Hawkins, Ghali, Holder, Hutton, and Schwartz, the top 5. And how about John Schwartz? We haven't really mentioned his name much here today, but he started back at 20th position. And how about this? 15 spots gained. He's up into the top 5. And yes, there is a little bit of a gap there to Eric Hutton. But the 48 car, phenomenal drive here today. Shout out to the 48 team and what they've been able to accomplish here. What used to be called Lowe's Motor Speedway, it was a Jimmy Johnson specialty, and rocking the 48 colors. I can see why. That's more of an Alex Bowman machine. But nonetheless, still a Hendrick car out here at Charlotte is known to perform well. The Gaggle race cars back here with Sorrell, Barrett Morton, Rafael Huby, Nick Mills, who's back on the lead lap. These guys still struggling a little bit here on the handling, but it's single files out from 10th place on up. And there's the 25 machine of Sean Kaser. He got involved a little bit ago to bring out a yellow with the 42 car. Shot him up into the outside. That got into Blake Hensley. Hensley, 23 laps down here today. After having a decent start to this race, he had worked his way up into the top 10. You see the damage repaired on that machine, but not quite able to pass for position. He goes by Nick Mills there on the inside. Battle for the lead heats up, though. It was down to 0.2 of a second there a moment ago, so maybe a mistake here for the 14. But Yusuf Ghali up on the outside of Hawkins. They battle down the backstretch. We've seen this twice today. And another change for the lead. A little brush with the wall into 3. And Hawkins going to bury it into the corner, but it's not going to be enough. Coming off of turn 4. Across the line. Hawkins gets a surge back somehow after brushing the wall in the entrance and holds on for one more lap led. But Ghali on the outside into 1 and 2. Looks like he's going to take the spot here soon enough. And officially completes the pass for the lead, coming up on lap 100. 81 to go is across the stripe now. Falls back to the clutches of the 48 of John Schwartz. So some of these guys starting to suffer with handling, and the side-by-side continues. Cofield to the inside of Silvers. Holder and Schwartz side-by-side as they go into 1 and 2. Door to door. A little blink out there for the 48 car briefly. Holder's going to hang it up there on the outside and get the position. Looking back deeper into the field, 6th and 7th position battling. Still side by side out of turn 4. Cofield cannot get clear of the 17 of Silvers. 25 of Kaser going to the inside of Farmer. 7th, 8th position settles out. Single file down the backstretch. David Farmer right now after starting up on this pole, and he almost had some contact there. I think that was the 19. Maybe Barry Morton got into the back of him, almost sent him to the exit 4 wall. But if you're Farmer right now, you've got to be frustrated with how this race has went. You started up front, and on lap number 2, you hit the wall, fall all the way through the field, and you've been in recovery mode ever since. Back to 10th now for the 84 machine. Eric Hutton also gets around GT Hawkins, moves up to the second spot. He's trying to chase down Yusuf Ghali and this top three in another time zone. As you see them come out of turn 4, or out of turn 2 rather, they're in a whole different area code, and Hawkins is 3.5 seconds ahead of Brandon Holder, who has Jonathan Cofield and the 48 of John Schwartz all over his back bumper. The line starting to progress up towards the top. There goes Ghali by on the backstretch. Again, they have checked out over 3.5 seconds, but the gap between first, second, and third is less than a second as they come off of turn 4. The top 3 cars have been dominant all day, all leading some laps. The 87 going to try to take away the position from Yusuf Ghali. And remember, these two teammates coming into today. It might come down to who's the more selfish driver, because these two battling it out. They get side by side. Hawkins could reel them back in. So approaching that window now, 35 laps into the books. If these guys can stretch it another 15, which I highly doubt, then they could make it a one-stop race, but it doesn't look like that's going to be possible here today. We saw the green flag pit stops happen or begin around the 40-lap mark. Here they come for 36 on the books. So some more pit stops going to start here very soon. You've had a few guys already take it down pit road. Justin Sorrell in the 99, he hit pit road. He's back to 17th lap down. David Farmer hits pit road now. Brandon McLaughlin also in for service. There's David Farmer after hitting pit road, around for his first time by. And the laps going to be entirely different. Let's see what the 84 car can do compared to your leaders. Yusuf Ghali still in the lead. There comes Hutton now down pit road. Last time by with the fresh tires, Farmer was able to run a 30.3. The leader, Yusuf Ghali, coming down now. He had just got done with a 31.26. So almost a second and a half difference. A second and a tenth, rather, between those times, and maybe a speeding penalty here. I'll have to wait and see. I saw a little bit of a late lock up there, 45 down and away, so he's good to go. And Yusuf Ghali back out on the racetrack. A few other drivers come down pit road. There's Hawkins into his stall. Down and away for Craig Schroeder. John Schwartz stays out and takes over the lead. They're on lap 112. And now coming down into the pits. There goes Hawkins down and away. Where will he shake out? Did he get on and off pit road? I told you that this is where these drivers would start to break away from the rest of the field. Matt Grenier, Nick Mills, all have stayed out. Lap led here for Silvers. He's going to stay out another lap. These guys trying to stretch it as far as they can, praying for a caution. Yusuf Ghali going to unlap himself the old-fashioned way. Still have 2 cars yet to pit. Matt Grenier and James Silvers. Here comes the 45 car. He will take over the lead. He is 0.7 of a second ahead. So after this next time by, when Matt Grenier comes down pit road, he's actually behind Yusuf Ghali, but has about a full lap advantage over him. Nick Mills out there as well. These drivers just trying to stretch it and be different than everyone else, and unfortunately the strategy isn't panning out. They're just looking for track position at this point, with the 15 car probably going to come down this time by, and he does. He lowers it down to the apron, and here he comes in for service. A little hot on the entry, but he's clear and good to go. Yusuf Ghali down into turns 1 and 2. How about that? Onto the outside, Eric Hutton side by side with Yusuf Ghali. What a surge of speed there from the 87 car, and he'll take over the lead when they get back around this racetrack. McMill still yet to hit pit road. The longer these drivers stay out, he actually is coming down now. I'm going to say the longer these drivers stay out, the more they're just going to be in a bad situation. He is able to stretch it 43, 44 laps on the stint, but that is not going to be enough to make it to the end. And I don't care how far you drove this thing, you're going to have to make it 2 stops, because this car is not going to last that long. This time by, here comes Hutton to take over the lead on lap 117, now 118. As it switches over. Hutton on point, 0.3 of a second. GT Hawkins is about a second, almost 2 behind these drivers. He's got a lot of work to do, but he can chase them down, plenty of time to do it. He can make a lot of this time up. I think maybe just a little mistake there on pit road that cost him some time. And if you look, it wasn't so much down the pit lane, it was actually on the apron of the racetrack, because his times were actually matched with Hutton and Ghali. With the time lost getting back out onto the racetrack, maybe a lap car meets up with him a little strange on the backstretch. I'm not entirely sure what happened to the 14 car, because based off of his times in the box, he had the second fastest pit stop of these top 3, and he was the fastest down the lane with a 37.5. So he did a phenomenal job. Not sure where that time was lost. I'll have to wait and see if he can catch up to him here. So he's about 2 seconds even from the lead. $120 laps underway. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League live from Charlotte. We'll be right back here on Vspeed with a quick word from our sponsors. We'll see you right after this. Back here live from Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. Eric Hutton with the lead, 125 laps complete. You look here on your screen right now, Hutton has checked out from Yusuf Ghali, a full second down the backstretch. Yusuf Ghali, GT Hawkins, David Farmer, Jonathan Cofield, the top five. But what I'm most impressed with is this guy sleeping on these guys. They allowed several lead changes here today. Yusuf Ghali has led some laps. GT Hawkins also laps led. You had your pole sitter who was kind of quiet after lap 2. He hasn't recovered. He's back all the way in the 84 car. Somewhere on this grid. He's back to 4th, so he has recovered slightly, but not a great day here for Farmer. Not what he had predicted as he tries to chase down Hawkins on lap 126. There he goes to the inside of Blake Hensley, 22 laps down for the 31 machine, but a pass nonetheless here for the Farmer machine. And Cofield hot on the back bumper. This battle for 4th is heating up as well. A little bit of contact there between the 58 and the 84. He sends him into the exit of 4. Thought maybe he would turn him. That was a little bit of a bad touch and could upset these cars very easily if you get into them there at the entrance of the quad oval. But Farmer was ready for it, was keeping the wheel straight when it happened, and was able to still hit the corner just right. Meanwhile, while that's going on, Hutton still maintaining that 1 second gap. It's just under that now. Last time by, about half a tenth of a second for Yusuf Ghali. He is starting to be the faster car late in these runs. You see a ton of time there through 3 and 4. He hit it just right. And he's going to make up about 0.3 of a second this time by. And for good reason, because he has Hawkins even faster than that. Hawkins that time, half a tenth faster than Ghali, and the top 3 starting to speed up. They're chasing down the leader, Eric Hutton. That time by a tenth faster for the 45 of Ghali. And if I'm Eric Hutton right now, I'm going to turn that relative off. There's no reason to be looking at it. You need to hit your marks and drive and stay focused. You're coming up on your last set of green flag pit stops. No reason to look in the mirror right now. That's a teammate back there. He's not going to force the issue. Just take yourself easy. Nice and calm here. See if he can keep it under control for the remaining 50 laps to go. That lead under half a second now. 4/10 separates the 87 and the 45. 14 car under a second now. That lead was over 2 seconds a moment ago. Hawkins has shaved it down, and he is still faster than both the front runners here. Half a tenth at a time for Hawkins. I'm the 87 of Hutton. I'd probably push this until about the point that Ghali got to my inside and got around me, and then I'd bring it down pit road. I think that's the move here at Charlotte. Just kind of short pit surprise and come out half a second faster than the rest of this field. See how far you can stretch it out on pit road, because right now, Yusuf Ghali is proving on the long run that he is a little bit faster than Hutton. And Hawkins is proving that he's faster than both of them. Creeps up to the back bumper now as they go into 1 and 2. Golly in the weight of the 87. Down the back straightaway, Hutton has to change his line a little bit here going into 3. You see the 45 backs it up a little bit early. See if he can get the drive off of the corner. He will not, and now Hawkins is under a second. 135 laps complete. Thought about passing there for just a moment. Now down to 8 tenths. Third place catching up even more. These two drivers get to racing side by side. It could spell trouble. Best bet here as teammates is to stay single file, and they know that. You can see how Hutton is not really faster than Golly, but Golly's maintaining behind him, trying to get this draft here from the car in front of them. That's the Rolling Rock machine. That's actually McCullough in the, let's say the 81. He's going to let these two go by now. And now side by side, Yusuf Ghali says it's time to go. So a change again for the lead. Here on lap 138, 45 trades places with Eric Hutton. Off of turn 4, across the line, and another lead change here today. That's going to make it 17. And with only 2 cautions, one of those being a stage break, it's been a phenomenal race here today. 210 miles completed, and still a lot of racing left to go. Car on the wall there, that was the 87. That's going to allow Hawkins to catch up even more. Farmer onto the outside for the 7th position, rather. Sean Kaser in the 25 trying to hold him off. Rafael Hubi in the 21. He's in 6th position. Checking through this top 10 from Schwartz in 5th. And then we have Hubi, Farmer, Kaser still trading spots back here side by side with Farmer. Then you have Brandon Holder, who is up front for some of this race. No laps left, but very close to it. He made an attempt to pass for the lead a couple different times here in the beginning half of this race. Since then has fallen off that pace, and he's back to 9th. This James Silvers rounding out the top 10. He's down 1 spot from where he began this race. Second biggest mover of the race, though, is the 48 car, and he's been solid all day. He's competed a couple different times here with Cofield for the 4th position. Just not able to crack up into that top 3 yet. And, you know, with Schwartz's situation here is just, let's see if we can come home with a top 5. He probably knows, hey, I don't have the speed to get up there and run with those leaders, but if I can sneak out a 4th spot, that would just be a little bonus on top of how he's performed here today. We'll have to wait and see how this all shakes out with him and Cofield. A few more cars come down pit road. That's Sorrell coming out now behind Schroeder. So these two are done with pit stops for the day. Another car down pit road, that's the 81 of Brendan McLaughlin. So he'll start his 2nd stop here on lap 143. So we'll have less than 40 to go. These drivers still staying out. And if you're Yusuf Ghali right now, you know Hutton's faster than you on the long run. So how do you play this? Because if you short pit, you can put yourself in a spot where that makes the 87 car even stronger. So where do you pit? where's the prime time to come down pit road, get 4 fresh tires, and fill this thing up enough to make it to the end of this race. The more laps that you count away, the less fuel you'll have to take, the lighter this car will be. But Hutton has proved that on the short run, he is much, much faster than the rest of this field. And if I'm Vspeed right now, it's one of those spots where if you do and if you don't, it just might not work out. And with Hutton staying within a couple tenths of a second, now Hawkins starts to creep up to about 8-9 tenths as they go into 3. He's going to have to plan this perfectly. Execution down pit road. Get those 4 tires, no speeding penalties. We've seen that happen a lot here on Vspeed to the 45 car. Vspeed has had phenomenal days and threw them all away. Can he maintain his composure? Eric Hutton on board. Car down pit road. That's Barrett Morton in the 19 machine. He's going to get 4 tires in service. Another car down. That's the 15 of Grenier. Last car on the lead lap, back in 11th position. Down the way now for the 19. He's going to get those 4 tires in fuel. 14.7 in the box. Vspeed coming back around here. He's going to stay out another lap. These drivers will not be able to stretch it out. So bear in mind, they will have to come down pit road. And they came out last time separated by about 0.2 of a second, or 2 seconds altogether. But it seemed like the 87 was just a little bit faster. He had a 1 lap advantage on tires. Looked like the 45 was going to bring it down this time by, but he does not. Lap traffic in front of him. Car is becoming a factor here. You see Hutton go to the inside of Schroeder. Not able to complete the pass, and now the 87 car is down into pit road. Looks like he hit it good enough. Really pushed the envelope there, locked up the rear tires, but looks like it's going to be clean, and he'll make it all the way down to the end of pit road. More fresh tires going to go on that machine. Jonathan Cofield in the stall just behind him. Going to get service to that 58. Topping off with the Sunoco race fuel. 2 of the drivers that started up front here today, well, unfortunately, they're out of the positions they began. You can see the 42 of Cody Anderson is being scored 19 laps down on your screen right now. The 84 machine, you see coming back on the track, that was the 87 of Hutton, but the 84 machine of Farmer, not a great day. He's back up into the top 5 there briefly, but back at 6th right now as Silvers decides to bring it down pit road. So Nick Mills going to stay out, get another lap led. That's going to add to our lead changes total for the day, and 30 laps to go roughly, about 29 now as they cross the line. Nick Mills taking over the lead, into the wall hard there on the exit of turn 2. And that's not going to help, but I look to him bring it down pit road now. Car just a little off pace here today. Vspeed down the backstretch, wins the battle in the mark down pit road, but this was kind of what we saw in that last pit stop. The 45 just a little bit slower. This time, he doesn't have to save. Not really a long run. Hutton dictated it. He short pit the 45. Let's see if the short run speed is in that Spirit Airlines 45 here today. And can Hawkins chase them down? Will we have a three-way battle for the lead? It starts to tighten up a little bit more with each coming lap. Back here in the 9th position, trying to chase down OiL. He's within 0.2 of a second right now. Battle for the lead heats up even more. Here comes Hawkins now, within a 10th on Hutton. Down the backstretch, the top three separated by 0.3. Golly, Hutton, Hawkins. Peek to the inside into turn one. Hutton looking like he's struggling on this run. Hawkins goes by for second. Now sets his sights on Yusuf Ghali. 25 laps to go. Does anyone have something for the 45 today? Hutton goes to the outside. That lap car checks him up a little bit here in the entry of 3 and 4. He loses a little bit of ground now. Last time by, fastest car on the racetrack was GT Hawkins. This time by, they're dead even. 30.6s for all three of the top three. Almost some contact there in the middle of 1 and 2. Hawkins starting to get on the back bumper of Ghali, wearing him out here. He has company as well in his mirror with Hutton on his back bumper, less than a 10. Ghali's just in hang-on mode, but a good exit for both those cars as they pull away from Hutton for lap 160 complete. This time around, even again. Hutton just slightly slower than Hawkins. But 30.5s, these guys are speeding up. Everybody out there in chat was talking about Hawkins and Hutton, but nobody has said golly here in the chat today. Really, we have no idea who's going to win this race. That's part of the spectacle here for the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series. Based off the lap times that I'm seeing, Hutton just not able to have an edge on this short run. Maybe saving the tires a little bit here. Here's another lap car as they come across the line. Golly probably going to take it down to the inside. He does go down to the bottom, but Hawkins follows him down. Thought maybe he was going to give him the bumper here. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series live on Vspeed. We're going to take another quick commercial break. Uninterrupted coverage here for the remaining laps. We'll be right back after this. Back here live, Concord, North Carolina. Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're picking up right where we left off. 1, 2, 3. Jonathan Cofield has caught up to this pack. And as we talked about that, there was a little attempt for the lead. We'll take you back on the instant replay here and show you Yusuf Ghali under fire there briefly. GT Hawkins drove it deep into turn 3. He did get to the inside, and they were side by side across the front stretch. But it wasn't enough to complete the pass, and he ends up falling back behind him. And that was pretty much the only attempt here thus far. You see into that picture, 58 at Cofield. And Hawkins, after that attempt, burns up the tires. That means Eric Hutton now going to be able to make an attempt, but he has 2 cars behind him. That's actually Anderson. I apologize, those cars look very similar. I've done that a couple times tonight. But now a pass on the inside for second position. Hutton gets pinched down into the entry of 1. Can't complete the pass. Yusuf Ghali pulls away 0.8 of a second with 10 laps to go. Pass in the race is on back here for the second position. Cofield gets passed by Anderson, who's running up here with this pack. But this is for a spot on the podium. The 42 on pressure tires peaks to the outside, backs it up, 87 to the bottom, peaks to the inside of the 14. Nowhere to go here for Hutton. Gonna get a big run down the backstretch. Gonna take it to the inside. Side by side now into 3. Has to lift a little earlier. Side by side across the line. Hutton almost has the pass. Here they go into 1 now for second position again. Off the corner of 2, a little touch there of contact. Drag racing down the backstretch side by side, and now Anderson, he rips it up to the top line. And tries to go on by. Anderson's gonna poke a hole here for Hutton, but Hutton's not gonna follow it. Now he will get to the outside. Just trying to find a way around him. Five laps to go when they cross the stripe here. Hutton runs the 14 way up the embankment. Almost out of racetrack, but Hawkins holds on to it. Across the line, it's Hutton by a fender. Running each other out of racetrack again. And they contact coming out of 4. Hutton barely makes the door on the 14 car. And they're coming up on Sorrell now. Hutton cannot find a way around this car right now. He gets a good run out of 2. He's going to push him down the backstretch. Wearing out the back bumper, gets to the outside now and takes it into 1 and 2 on the high side. Maybe this will work. Will he pinch him down like he was pinched earlier? He will not. The battle for second position is hot. Hutton and Hawkins side by side now for about 6 laps. Barely runs out of racetrack, touches the outside wall and completes the pass. Hutton up to second with 3 to go, 2 to go, and as they cross the line, Yusuf Ghali 1.5 seconds ahead. He has clocked out from this race. He's looking to bring it home to victory lane. And a phenomenal drive here with 60 laps led. Coming out of 3 and 4 for the white flag now, Yusuf Ghali has pretty much locked it up. It's going to be official here at the line. And officially, it's going to finish green. Here comes Yusuf Ghali around Charlotte one last time. Eric Hutton has bested GT Hawkins for the top 3. But it was Yusuf Ghali that beat them all. He saved the tires just enough with heavy pressure from both those cars behind him. And off of turn 4 for the final time, race number 9 belongs to Yusuf Ghali, your winner at Charlotte. Phenomenal drive of this top 3. They pull out 3.7 seconds. Cofield had caught back up to them. But ultimately, they pulled out an even bigger gap, burning it down here on the front stretch. Yusuf Ghali celebrating another victory here for the Overtake iRacing League in the Cup Series. Post-race interviews with your top three. Yusuf Ghali takes it to victory lane. And a phenomenal drive by this driver. Yusuf Ghali, Eric Hutton, GT Hawkins. We're going to take another quick commercial break. Get these drivers rounded up. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series live on Vspeed. More right after this. Welcome back to coverage of the Overtake iRacing League live on Vspeed. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. We've concluded our 180 laps at Charlotte Motor Speedway for a great race of under 3 cautions. There's actually 2 cautions here, and how many lead changes? It was insane. Final results up on your screen. 21 to be exact, with Yusuf Ghali getting the victory. Started back in 21st today. Eric Hutton's going to bring it home in second with GT Hawkins in third. Jonathan Cofield, a solid day. Started fourth, finished fourth. John Schwartz passed 1,000 cars to finish into the top 5. Rafael Hubi finishes 6th. Sean Kaser in 7th. Will be David Farmer, your pole sitter, back to 8th. Brandon Holder, 9th. And James Silvers rounding out the top 10. Matt Grenier is going to finish in 11th. Nick Mills in 12th. Justin Sorrell, 13th. Looks like we have Greg Schroeder in 14th position with Michael Cole in 15th. Bradburn Shutter, 16th spot. 17th, Barrett Morton. Cody Anderson, who started up front today, he's going to finish back in 18th. Blake Hensley, heavy damage. He got caught up in the only caution we had today. He'll finish 19th. And Brandon McLaughlin will round out the 20-car field. And 2 more cars. One was heavily damaged. Michael Kostick, he was 92 laps down. And Mark Morton, who elected not to take the grid here today at Charlotte. Finally, that brings us down trackside. Let's round up. First, we're going to talk to your third place finisher here today. That's GT Hawkins in the number 14 machine. And Hawkins, I know, man, it's another one of those races where you had a dominant car, you had the speed, and it just maybe that caution changed things up on the flow or the laps led. I don't know, man, but one of these times you're going to get one. It doesn't much matter. You're still leading the points.
Yeah, I mean, the car just drove so well when you were driving it hard, so it was like tempting to drive it over the edge. You kind of, I mean, you definitely had to be careful with it early in the run and save your stuff, but I don't know, I just didn't enough tonight, I guess. And it's tough in traffic, and um, yeah, it'll skate on you. A lot of guys were smacking the outside wall out of 2 and 4, and yeah, it would um, just kind of one of those things that, yeah, it felt really good to drive once you got it hooked up down there on the bottom, and fortunately that it's fast and it feels uh, hooked up, but yeah, it just burns it up too much.
Well, and this car looked like with the situation of the different tires and guys maybe pulling some different strategies, you guys had stayed out. The top three had checked out from the rest of this field. How important it looked like clean air and downshifting was the key to maintaining this top three tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to pass in general. You just um, somebody could just hang on your door, and I think that was part of it at the very end there. But yeah, I mean, before the stage too, we thought we pulled a pretty good strategy move. We were planning to run it out just in case there was a caution, and it came out right away after some of the leaders had already pit. So we thought we'd hit a home run, but it kind of backfired on us. Those guys stayed on the lead lap. The couple laps of tires that they burn up didn't matter. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to break away and it's hard to pass, and it was easy to drive it over the line. So best driver, I think, won tonight for sure.
Well, overall, I think best driver is leading the points. You've been a balance and you've participated in every single race this season. That's the important part. So, Hawkins, when we come here or we go into next week at Iowa, what do you have in store for us?
I love Iowa. I love all the short tracks. These cars are really fun on the short tracks, so definitely looking forward to it. It's bumpy. It's historically has been multi groove, and kind of with some of the updates, it might even be better. So might actually work now. So we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited for it.
Well, we got a username Savage in the chat, and I know you have some people to thank. Go ahead and shout them out here for third place.
Well, I'm going to thank Savage first of all, Glory Pole, all my teammates at Cornerstone. Thank you for broadcasting, everybody at OiL for putting this on, and all my friends, family out there watching. Thanks.
Appreciate your time, Hawkins, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Iowa.
Thanks. See you.
GT Hawkins, third place finisher here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And that'll bring us to our second place finisher. That'll be Eric Hutton in the number 87 car. Eric, they had a lot of guys cheered for you out there tonight, but it came down to one of two factors. It seemed like once you got into the clean air, you were able to maintain a little bit better line. And then secondly, there was some lap traffic. There was you trying to pass Hawkins. There was, pit stops, about 1,000,001 things that could have went wrong. And somehow you were just a second short of it.
Yeah, man, it was a fun race there at the end. It kind of sucked that we're all just saving tires, kind of playing a game of who can save more and what's worth saving. And but it worked out pretty fun. Wish that pink lap car wasn't battling for 20th place against no one while he was running between all three leaders that were within a second of each other. But it worked out at the end, I think. So overall, not too bad of a race.
And Eric, you were, you were running to the inside. You kept trying to pass Hawkins, but it seemed like once I think it was the 42 got by you guys, you somehow found a hole there on the outside line and passed him. Was there a particular line to get around, or did it just have to work out exactly right for you to get a pass off?
Yeah, I felt pretty good about the bottom and 3 and 4. If you hit it right, you can really wrap the corner pretty well. But 1 and 2, I struggled with all night, and especially with passing. If you're on the bottom 1 and 2, the high line just gets so much momentum that you can't really do anything with it. So I think once I got behind GT, I had a run out of 3 and 4, and luckily I was able to get to his quarter and just took it on the outside and was able to carry the momentum.
Outside of that, Eric, there was a lot of people in chat out here tonight that were cheering you on and having a hopeful outlook. You were leading the laps and putting them away. Just shy of it here tonight, but second place. Is there anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, just appreciate everybody in the league putting on the league. It's been fun so far. Appreciate teammates John and Yusuf and all the fans in the chat. Shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure. There was a lot of them. Jay Sonic, they wouldn't stop. It was Eric for the win. Eric putting the W in win or Speedway. That was just so many different things they were saying, and I kept up with all of it. But overall, you had some guys out here cheering you on, and we appreciate your time. Look forward to Iowa with you, buddy.
We appreciate it. See you then.
Eric Hutton, second place finisher here tonight at Charlotte, and that finally brings us to our winner here today. The guy that did it just a little bit better than everybody else, Yusuf Ghali, second win of the season. And Yusuf, we didn't get some opportunities to talk to you. You took a little hiatus on us. I don't know if you were just not a fan of the Chicago street course, if that was planned, or if you had something going on, but now you pick up where you left off. Congrats on the win.
Yeah, thanks, man. I don't own the track, so I figured be a nice time to take a break. I think it was also Charlotte Roval that I took a break from too. Maybe not the biggest fan of road course racing, but it's kind of hurting us in points. Missing these races.
Yeah, but it makes for more of a challenge. And here tonight, you definitely had that. It was up until maybe about 10 to go where you actually started to show the long run speed. And Hutton, I thought maybe in that situation where you guys were going to run it down to about 30 to go and the laps kept ticking away, that Hutton might be able to beat you. How different did you run that last stint compared to the other ones where you were fast on the long run?
I was running it really slow to start. That was kind of the key to being fast long run, was just being the slowest car to start. Eric decided that was what he wanted to do in the earlier in the race. I was trying to maybe lead some laps, try to get the most lap side bonus points. So he was faster. He's probably the fastest, not probably, he was the fastest car long run for the first few runs. But that last run, I figured, for the win, I'm just going to basically park at every corner. And I felt a little bad for that, but everybody had the chance to pass me, and everybody else was doing the same thing I was doing. So it's kind of just a game of chicken. And I guess I was the one that won because I waited the longest to try to push.
Who's going to use up their stuff first? And you blink for a second. You had lap traffic, you had pit stops, you had about a million things. We talked to Hawkins and Hutton both about that. So take us through what the strategy was when you were leading this thing for that final set of pit stops.
I'd noticed I was really good at on and off pit road the entire race, so I kind of just figured do what I've been doing, and it did somehow get me the lead. I had the lead before that, but I kept the lead coming out of the pit stop despite pitting a lap after. So I had a lap fresher tires and about a half-second lead. So I figured at that point, if I just back up to the guys behind me, I'll have tires that I saved a little better and they're a lap fresher. So I can just sit there and let them burn their stuff up trying to hold up with me. And then as soon as it's 10 or so to go, I can just hit the afterburners, get going, and hopefully they'll race each other. And I got lucky with that 42 racing them. I don't know what that was about. I found out after the race he was about 20 laps down, so I don't know what he was doing there. But that helped me, so I'm not really going to complain about it.
And you pull out to 1.5 seconds. You lead 62 laps, and you passed a million cars to get here. Yusuf Ghali, congratulations on the victory and the second one here in the Cup Series. Do you have anyone you'd like to thank?
Just you every week, admins as well for putting on the league. I really appreciate being able to race every week.
We appreciate your time. Yusuf Ghali, winner here today, and we look forward to seeing you at Iowa next week here on Wednesday.
Sounds good, hopefully.
You own that track, right?
Yes, sir, but I hate it. It's probably my least favorite oval on the game.
Well, we'll see you. We'll see you there.
We will, despite how much I want to skip it.
Yusuf Ghali, winner here today, and it was another great one here for the Overtake iRacing League. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single race. I know that I say that every single week, but it means so much to us here at Vspeed. When you hit that subscribe button, it's helping us out tremendously. This channel's grown sevenfold from what it was just a year ago. And on top of that, I would like to thank all the leagues that make this possible, justify what we do. And then just a cherry on top for Adam Baker and the graphics he makes, and Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith, Christian Hill, the other producers here at Vspeed, our other commentators that join me in the booth weekly, and a variety of different voices here. We thank you for another great night here on Vspeed. Next up, we have the VRX World Cup Series on Friday night. That will start at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope you can join us for that, as they have 2 races left. That big prize, the Thrustmaster 818 Ferrari Edition, up on for grabs, and prizes all the way through the top. I think they go all the way back to the 30th position, so hope you guys can be there for that as well. But until then, everybody, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time here on Vspeed.
Oh, big wiggle. And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes
comes
Slack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag